Leadership plays a critical role in the creation and maintenance of a circle of safety. Leaders are the ones who set the tone, shape the culture, and establish the framework in which trust, vulnerability, and collaboration can flourish. The responsibility to protect and nurture the circle of safety falls squarely on the shoulders of those in leadership positions. They must take deliberate and consistent actions to ensure that every individual within the organization or community feels secure, supported, and valued. A leader's actions should reflect their commitment to the well-being of their team. This starts with creating an environment where people feel emotionally safe. Emotional safety is the bedrock of a circle of safety. When people feel emotionally safe, they are more likely to be open, vulnerable, and honest with one another. They are more willing to take risks, contribute new ideas, and collaborate without the fear of judgment or retaliation. Emotional safety allows individuals to be their authentic selves, knowing that they will be accepted and respected regardless of their weaknesses or mistakes. To create this emotional safety, leaders must show empathy and compassion. This requires understanding the individual needs of team members and being attuned to the challenges they face. Leaders must be willing to listen actively and without judgment, offering support when needed. By being present and attuned to the emotional dynamics within the group, leaders can identify areas where trust may be lacking or where safety is being compromised. When a leader demonstrates empathy, it signals to the team that their well-being matters. This empathy fosters a sense of connection and encourages individuals to reach out when they need help or guidance. Leaders must also protect their teams from external threats. A circle of safety is not just about protecting individuals from harm within the team, but also from outside pressures that could undermine their ability to perform. External threats can come in many forms: market instability, organizational change, or even toxic relationships with clients or partners. Leaders must be vigilant in shielding their teams from these threats, allowing them to focus on their work without unnecessary distractions or fears. When leaders act as protectors, they reinforce the sense of safety within the group, and people are able to do their best work without constantly looking over their shoulders or fearing what might come next. In addition to shielding their teams from external threats, leaders must also be prepared to manage internal challenges that could disrupt the circle of safety. This includes addressing conflicts, resolving issues of trust, and dealing with tensions that may arise within the team. Leaders must be proactive in identifying potential problems before they escalate and must approach them with a mindset of resolution and growth. Rather than allowing problems to fester or become divisive, effective leaders intervene early to restore harmony and ensure that everyone within the circle feels heard and valued. This often requires difficult conversations, but the ability to address issues with transparency and fairness strengthens the trust between leaders and team members. Leadership also involves modeling the behaviors that contribute to a circle of safety. Leaders must lead by example, demonstrating the values of trust, respect, and vulnerability. If a leader expects their team members to be open and collaborative, they must first demonstrate those qualities themselves. Leaders must be willing to admit when they don't have all the answers, ask for feedback, and take responsibility for their actions. When leaders show that they are open to criticism, that they can handle vulnerability, and that they prioritize the well-being of their team, they set a standard for others to follow. This behavior sets the tone for the rest of the team, creating a ripple effect where others are more likely to mirror the same openness and honesty in their own interactions. One of the most important aspects of leadership within a circle of safety is the ability to foster inclusivity and equality and equality. Leaders must work to ensure that every individual feels that their voice matters and that their contributions are valued. This requires creating opportunities for everyone to speak, share their ideas, and participate in decision-making processes. It's not enough for leaders to simply dictate the direction. They must actively involve the team in shaping that direction. Inclusivity fosters a sense of ownership and belonging, which are critical components of safety. When people feel included and that they have a say in the decisions that affect them, they are more likely to trust their leaders and be committed to the collective success of the team. Leaders must also be accountable for the well-being of their team. This means not only focusing on the professional development of individuals, but also considering their personal needs and challenges. A leader who is attuned to the human side of their team is better equipped to support them through difficult times, whether those times are related to work or personal issues. Leaders who take the time to understand the challenges their team members are facing outside of work can offer greater support and empathy. This care and attention to the whole person builds trust and reinforces the sense of safety within the circle of safety. Ultimately, leadership in a circle of safety is about creating an environment where people feel protected, respected, and empowered. It is about showing up for your team, being present, and leading with integrity and authenticity. Leaders who prioritize the safety of their teams create an atmosphere where individuals are free to take risks, be vulnerable, and collaborate without fear of judgment or failure. These leaders empower their teams to perform at their highest potential, knowing that they are supported and valued every step of the way. Through consistent action, empathy, and a commitment to trust, leaders can build and sustain a circle of safety that drives success and fosters personal and collective growth. Empowerment starts with trust and belief in others. Without trust, leadership becomes control. Without belief, it becomes micromanagement. The heart of empowering others lies not in giving them instructions, but in giving them confidence. Noting, it's about looking at someone and seeing their potential before they see it in themselves. It's about saying, I believe in you, not just with words, but through actions, through space, and through opportunity. When we truly trust others, we stop hovering. We let go of the need to supervise every detail. We give them room to think, to decide, to try, and yes, even to fail. Because empowerment is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about building people up by giving them chances to lead, to grow, to stretch beyond what they thought possible. Trust says, you've got this, and belief says, even if you don't get it right the first time, I know you'll learn. Too often, leaders hold on to control because they fear mistakes. They fear that others won't do it the same way or as well. But empowering others means accepting that different doesn't mean worse. It just means different. It means being okay with letting someone take a different path to the same destination. It means focusing less on compliance and more on creativity. When people feel trusted, they become more innovative. When they feel believed in, they take initiative. It starts with how we see people. Do we see them as problems to manage or as potential to nurture? Do we look at our teams, our peers, our communities and see capacity or limitation? Empowerment begins in the mind of the leader. If we don't believe others can lead, we'll never give them the chance. If we never give them the chance, we rob them of the opportunity to become something more. Belief is powerful. It's a silent vote of confidence. It's what allows someone to rise to the occasion. Think about a time someone believed in you. Maybe they handed you a responsibility you didn't think you were ready for. Maybe they stood by you when you failed. Maybe they told you they saw something in you, even when you couldn't see it yourself. That moment probably stayed with you. That's the kind of leadership that empowers. Empowering others also means being willing to let them shine. It means not needing all the credit. It means celebrating their wins, not as a reflection of our greatness, but as evidence of theirs. Some leaders struggle with this. They feel threatened by someone else's rise, but real leaders know that power is not diminished when shared. It multiplies. The more we empower others, the stronger the entire system becomes. There's also a vulnerability to empowerment. It requires a leader to admit they don't have all the answers. It means letting go of ego. It means creating space for other voices, for new ideas, for different strengths. And that can be uncomfortable. But discomfort is where growth happens. Empowering others means choosing growth over comfort, both for ourselves and for those we lead. Trust isn't built overnight. It's built through consistency, through listening, through following through on promises, through showing up again and again, even when it's hard. It's built when people know you've got their back, not just when things go well, but especially when they don't. When we empower others, we don't just give them tasks. We give them the belief that they matter, that they belong, and that they are capable of making a difference. Belief isn't just about optimism. It's about action. It means mentoring. It means investing time. It means having difficult conversations that help someone grow. It means offering support, not just when it's convenient, but when it's needed. When we believe in someone, we show up for them. We make space for them. We challenge them, not to break them, but to build them. And when people feel trusted and believed in, something remarkable happens. They start to trust themselves. They begin to believe they can take on challenges, lead initiatives, make decisions. They stop waiting for permission. They step up. That's how leaders are born, not through commands, but through confidence. Not through pressure, but through possibility. Not through authority, but through affirmation. When we empower others by trusting and believing in them, we don't just unlock their potential. We expand what's possible for everyone. We create a culture where leadership is shared, not hoarded. Where ideas are valued, not silenced. Where people feel free to bring their full selves to the table. And that kind of culture is the foundation of lasting impact. Leaders grow leaders, not followers. This idea challenges the traditional notion of leadership that places one person at the top and everyone else beneath them. True leadership is not about accumulating followers who obey commands or admire from a distance. It's about nurturing individuals so they can step into leadership themselves. It's about creating an environment where people feel empowered, trusted, and prepared to take initiative and responsibility. When a leader's focus is on building more leaders, the result is not just influence, it's transformation. A leader who aims to grow other leaders understands that their role is not to be the hero of the story, but to be the guide. They recognize that their greatest success is not measured by personal achievements, but by the success of those they've mentored and inspired. They don't see leadership as a position to protect, but as a platform to share. Their leadership is expansive, not restrictive. It invites others in. It makes space at the table. It encourages others to rise, even if that means stepping into roles the original leader once held. Growing leaders means giving people the tools, mindset, and confidence to lead. It's not about giving them all the answers, but helping them ask the right questions. It's about teaching them how to think, not what to think. It's about offering guidance without removing autonomy. When people are given room to grow, they begin to discover their own capacity. They make mistakes. They learn, they evolve, and in the process they become capable of guiding others too. This kind of leadership requires patience. It's easy to tell someone what to do. It takes more time and energy to coach them through decisions, to help them develop their own leadership voice, and to support them as they find their footing. But that investment pays off. Because the goal is not to build dependency, it's to build independence. The goal is not to lead forever, it's to lead in a way that multiplies leadership. In organizations, the difference between a manager who wants followers and a leader who grows leaders is visible in the culture. Where there are followers, there is fear of stepping out of line, a need for approval, and hesitation to take risks. Where leaders are being grown, there is confidence, creativity, and initiative. People feel safe to step forward. They don't wait to be told what to do. They act with purpose and take ownership of their role. Leaders who grow other leaders don't compete with their teams. They collaborate. They don't feel threatened by someone else's strength. They celebrate it. They know that the presence of more leaders doesn't dilute their own influence. It expands the impact of the entire mission. These leaders are secure enough to let others shine. They don't need all the credit. They measure success not by how important they appear, but by how strong and capable their people become. This mindset shift can be uncomfortable, especially for those who were raised in systems that equated leadership with control. But the most enduring leaders are those who step back so others can step forward. They understand that legacy isn't built through authority, but through empowerment. They mentor, they model, and they move aside when the time is right. They prepare others not to follow, but to lead with their own voice, their own passion, and their own purpose. Growing leaders also means being intentional about identifying potential. Sometimes leadership doesn't show up as the loudest voice or the most visible contributor. Sometimes it's the quiet thinker, the empathetic listener, or the one who leads by example rather than command. Great leaders look beyond surface-level traits and tap into the deeper qualities that define strong leadership. Integrity, curiosity, courage, humility, and resilience. It also means creating opportunities. Giving someone a title isn't enough. They need challenges that stretch them, responsibilities that shape them, and experiences that allow them to lead in real time. They need feedback that's honest and constructive, not just praise. Not just praise. They need someone who sees not just who they are now, but who they can become. And they need to know that mistakes are not signs of failure. but stepping stones toward growth. When a leader grows other leaders, they create a ripple effect. One person's influence becomes many. One person's vision expands through others. One person's courage to lead invites many others to do the same. The result is not a hierarchy of control, but a network of leadership. It's not about having one star player. It's about building a team where everyone has the capacity to lead in their own way.